do some chainsawing. Got a tree that's come down in the garden. It needs to be chopped up safely because it's currently being at an angle, and with small children around, that's not a great idea. So, just topping off the saw. Terrible habit to get into. You should always top it off once you finish. But as per normal, I was in a rush, so I didn't do it. This saw is a no-name piece of rubbish. Well, it's not a piece of rubbish. It's actually a very good saw for the money. It was a gift from my parents, and well, certainly I would have liked a, Stihl or Husqvarna. This is probably the best saw for me right now because it's doing tasks that are getting mistreated. The auto pull has come undone a couple of times. Not auto pull, but the pull retractor has come undone, so I've had to take that all apart and rewind it. And it does go through quite a bit of oil, and the mixture's not quite right, so it's a bit smoky. But as long as you've got a good quality blade, and you keep your saw in fairly good condition, it should work alright for you. It's always a good habit to be in to do your petrol and your oil at the same time, so that you've got a full tank of each. Generally speaking, I don't get quite so enthusiastic with the oil, but talking on camera does tend to make me a bit forgetful. Not a great habit when you've got a chainsaw, I suppose. It is spitting at the moment, so I'll try and take the camera with me and get some shots of work underway, but I don't want to get the camera wet, so you'll forgive me if I don't get complete coverage of this particular event, but I'll do my best. Nice and sharp, always important. Dull saw is the saw you cut yourself with. So the other important thing to remember is safety. You only get two legs, or as some people have said, these are your last pair that you get right now until bionics and all that kind of stuff takes over. Grumpy children because it's a rainy day, so if you hear them in the background, they're unhappy because it's not a nice day. But again, these aren't top of the line chainsaw chaps. They're not, your $300–400 Stihl contracted chaps. Had to replace them with buttons on the bottom, which have subsequently been ripped off, so the bottom two don't actually do up. That was thanks to our faithful hound, who decided to, in a frenzy of excitement, to eat the bottom two straps off each leg, I guess because they were hanging within his reach. So they've been repaired, but that's the important part, and steel cap boots. And because I'm working under a canopy with a tree that's about to come down, I'm going to be wearing a full helmet, ear protection, and I've even got auxiliary eye protection, just because you only get one pair of eyes. So, I say, and always a good thing to have is a hatchet. Never cheap out on your hatchets. I know this is a synthetic handle and it's basically like a Fiskars, which certain people aren't that fond of, but I found this to be the sharpest axe I've ever had, and it's actually held a really nice edge, and I've cut myself multiple times with it, so can't be doing too badly. So time to go out and take down this tree. So we are faced with a bit of an interesting situation here. You've got a tree that's come down here that's stuck in the crux of this tree, and then the main tree that's come down has landed on top. So if we make a cut through here, then we're going to free this up and it'll drop, but it'll get caught on here. So this is one of these situations where you actually need to make a fairly good assessment of the scene around you. Look for any other dead standing wood above you that might get knocked loose. For example, the tree over there is not looking so hot. And make sure that you're aware of all the situations. The other thing to do is to cut away all this stuff before you get started, because otherwise you run into a situation where you have to stumble backwards and you're tripping over stuff, and all of a sudden you're in a bad situation with a tree landing on top of you with a running chainsaw. So, tips from the expert. probably make one more cut closer to the stump, but it's getting very close to the ground at that point, and I really don't want to dig the saw blade into the ground because that means I have to sharpen it all over again, and you risk throwing stones and all sorts of fun stuff back in your face. And also, if it gets into the mechanism, then you're just running into more problems. So, whilst I said I like working in the rain, I think I'm going to call it quits for now, and I'm going to gather this little stuff up, take it back into the wood area, and split it. So you guys can join me for that as well. For getting more wood in. The rain's starting to get worse, not better. But we've got a nice little pile down there to work with. So that'll be firewood at some point. I'm going to try and get this video uploaded tonight, and then we're also going to try and finish tonight the watch repair video that I've been putting together. So that should be uploaded in the next couple of days. Unfortunately, I'm also using my computer for work at the moment, so it's sort of playing double duty, so that's why there hasn't been much video activity during the week, but we'll try and get that sorted out at some point soon.